secretaries, Shri Sandeep Gupta, Secretary DLSA North, and Miss Manu Goel Kharab, Secretary DLSA Southwest. और इवन दो यू मे हैव गॉट इट, बट मैं अपना इंट्रोडक्शन देना भूल गई. मेरा नाम विधि गुप्ता आनंद है. आई एम सेक्रेटरी DLSA शादरा. तो डॉक्टर एन के अग्रवाल, मैं आपको हैंड ओवर करती हूँ सेशन. सो काइंडली शुरू करें एंड लेट्स स्टार्ट द डिस्कशन विद MLC रिपोर्ट्स एंड पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट्स.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Vidhi, madam. And I will start with sharing my screen. And before starting the session, I hereby thanks Mr. Vidhi, madam, and Manu, madam, and Sandeep ji for calling me and giving this opportunity to talk in front of this intellectual gathering. As she has introduced me, I am director professor there. I am working as director professor from last 12 years and head of the department from last 20 years. So we will start with the thing, general thing, what we have in our mind whenever we come to the hospital is even general public and persons are confused about what is forensic medicine. Persons, even case of forensic science comes, they take as a forensic medicine. They call me and say कि आपकी forensic का हो गया when forensic science is not our branch. It is a little bit different. First, I will give you the example of forensic medicine. It is actually the application of medical knowledge to aid in the administration of justice in the law. And related term, previously, the public used to say what is medical jurisprudence. Jurisprudence is actually the doctor-patient relationship and doctor-doctor relationship. Public here is less of it involved and doctor-state relationship is there. Forensic science is actually there does not come the examination of the body. The forensic science persons are basically the persons who are not having MBBS degree but forensic science degree in MSc or PhD in forensic science, and they are not examining a human body. Where forensic medicine persons are examining a human body and forensic science persons are examining the things in lab or the forensic science. Modern use sometimes the word forensics is only used instead of forensic science, which is incorrect. Forensics is effectively synonymous for legal related to courts. However, the term is so closely associated with the scientific field that many dictionaries include the meaning that equates the word forensics with forensic science. Now, into the word, whenever a person comes to the hospital with any ailment or some emergency, whenever he comes, he thinks that he will be cured within a minute or immediately. Even everybody knows, even the courts or even the lawyers and everybody wants that the person will be cured. But physician sitting in the casualty cannot do everything. He is not a god, but he will try to say. What does it mean? What he is supposed to do? How will he handle this situation judiciously? He has to handle the situation very precautiously. He has to do things. Sitting in the casualty, he has to treat the patient. He has to fulfill all the medical legal formalities. Nowadays, side by side, he has to look after his own safety, along with safety of the other staff members and infrastructures, because infrastructure is sometimes being damaged and even the doctors are harmed by the public if something or mishap happens. So treating the patient is actually the first foremost duty of the doctor, I will tell you. Side by side, he has to look for the medical legal formalities which he is supposed to do. Medical legal case or not, life saving is actually a priority. All the doctor has to do is to fulfill the sheet, which in any case is part of the assessment of the patient. No delay for providing any first aid to the patient. Has to this again say every duty of the doctor is save the life of the patient. Now, next question comes, for which we are too concerned, is actually a medical case. In which cases we will label the medical legal case. Then we will come to the medical legal reports, which the doctors prepares and comes for scrutiny at all the levels, including the courts, by advocates, and everything. Now, any case of injury, illness where attending doctor, after eliciting history and examining the patient, thinks that some investigations by law enforcement agencies essential to establish and fix responsibility for the case in accordance with the law of the land. In medical case, it is in general I am telling. Now, it is, in other words, we can say that it is a medical case with legal implications or a legal case requiring medical expertise. Both ways we can say. A legal report is one which is prepared for most of the litigation. Here I will like to use the word, when I say medical legal report, some of our colleagues in sitting in OPDs, especially in the private, are writing not for medical legal purpose. This word is not going to affect the courts, I think. You know better because you have written something for it, you will be held responsible and you are answerable to that thing, whatever you have written, whether you write it for medical legal purposes or not. Whether to label any case MLC or not, it rests solely with the attending medical practitioner. He has to decide whether it needs it or not. Now, again, the same thing, no legal definition. Any pre-appealed case or any case can turn out to MLC. Here, in this slide, I have tried to depict how we receive the MLC case. It is usually three ways.
डॉक्टर
Post,
साहब सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट,
yes,
आपकी
मैं
ना आवाज थोड़ी सी क्लियर नहीं आ रही है।
मेरी आवाज क्लियर नहीं आ रही है। अब मैं
नहीं
जरा
नहीं सर, ब्रेक ब्रेक कर रही है। हेडफोन्स लगा सकते हैं क्या? हेडफोन से थोड़ी
क्लियर
क्लियर हो जाएगी।
अब क्लियर आ रही है।
सर अब बेहतर तो लग रही है, पर जैसे आगे प्रोसेस होगा तो पता चलेगा। थोड़ी सी ना ब्रेक हो रही थी आवाज। और सर स्लाइड अभी आपकी फोरेंसिक साइंस वाली चल रही है, फोरेंसिक साइंटिस्ट एग्जामिन ऑब्जेक्ट सब्सटेंस केमिकल्स वाली।
अच्छा, मैं तो उससे बहुत आगे पहुंच गया हूँ।
सर अभी
वाह,
तो इधर तो
आवाज
नहीं
कब
आ
तक आ
रही।
रही है?
हाँ जी
कौन सी स्लाइड है?
सर, जो दूसरी स्लाइड थी फोरेंसिक साइंस वाली, एप्लीकेशन ऑफ ब्रॉड स्पेक्ट्रम ऑफ साइंसेज फॉर एग्जामिनिंग फोरेंसिक साइंस की, जो फोरेंसिक साइंटिस्ट एग्जामिन ऑब्जेक्ट्स सब्सटेंसेस केमिकल्स एक्सप्लोसिव टॉक्सिन्स टिश्यू ट्रेसेस, वहां वो वाली स्लाइड ही है अभी। मुझे लगा शायद कि कुछ आगे होना चाहिए था।
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल, उसके बाद में बहुत। अब आवाज ठीक आ रही है? पहले ये बताइए अब स्लाइड कौन सी आ रही
आवाज आवाज बिल्कुल ठीक आ रही है सर, फोरेंसिक साइंस वाली स्लाइड आ रही है पर।
है? बाकी सब पूछना पड़ेगा, लेकिन क्योंकि यहाँ तो चल रही है स्लाइड है। अब मैंने चेंज की दोबारा, आप दोबारा मेरी नाम वाली स्लाइड बाकी
सर
किसी
या
और
तो
से पूछ।
स्क्रीन स्क्रीन शेयरिंग क्लोज करके फिर से शेयर करें एक बार। स्क्रीन शेयरिंग ना बंद करके एक बार फिर से आप शेयर करें स्क्रीन, शायद
Yes,
उससे कुछ फर्क
asking
पड़े।
you want to.
जी डॉक्टर साहब, स्क्रीन तो आ गई आपकी। पहली स्लाइड आ गई डॉक्टर साहब, फोरेंसिक मेडिसिन। हाँ जी डॉक्टर साहब, व्हाट इज अ मेडिकल लीगल केस वाली स्लाइड आ गई है, यहाँ से बेशक शुरू कर लेते हैं। आप चाहें तो डॉक्टर साहब कैमरा ऑफ कर लें, क्या पता ट्रांसमिशन बेटर हो।
Now, is there any connectivity issue, Vidhi?
सर मुझे लग रहा है डॉक्टर साहब के एंड पे कनेक्टिविटी इशू आ रहा है शायद।
डॉक्टर साहब आपको ऑडिबल है? I think you can call him. He's. Did he try to call him? Coordinate.
अच्छा सर, ओके।
Connected secured दिखा रहा है, his screen is visible on the तो network
हाँ,
को
right.
connected दिखा रहा है।
पर वो बोल नहीं रहे हैं कुछ, ऑडिबल नहीं आ रहा है।
मैं एक बार कॉल करूं?
हाँ जी प्लीज।
मैं करती हूँ।
In the meanwhile, we'll request our all our panel advocates. If you have any queries in midst of the session, also you all can post it in your chat box. Chat box में आप please अपने queries post करते रहिएगा, and we can take them up at the end.
सर डॉक्टर साहब इज नॉट पिकिंग अप। डॉक्टर साहब आर यू देयर? प्लीज माइक ऑन करें अपना।
Doctor Saab, I think Vidhi there is some serious connectivity issue at his end.
सर क्योंकि पर पीपीटी तो शेयर हो रही है उनकी।
PPT share हो रही है, but he is
वो
not
हेडफोन्स
speaking.
ढूंढने तो नहीं चले गए कहीं? बिकॉज आई टोल्ड हिम टू कनेक्ट थ्रू हेडफोन्स।
Okay, it
No,
might
he
be.
is there only. He is there only because you know the cursor is moving on the screen which is showing. The cursor is moving. Now the cursor is at fully
Call
charged.
him.
मैं एक
Try
और
to
बार
call
कॉल
him
ट्राई
again.
करती हूँ।
Yes.
मैं एक और बार कॉल ट्राई करती हूँ।
Mm-hmm. So all our advocates, please bear with us. Technology hai, so sometimes glitches are always there. They are inevitable, but we have to keep pace with the technological revolution which is going on. So virtual thing is the only option by which we all can connect together. So sometimes it happens. So please keep patience and जो भी आपके mind में इस time queries हों, कुछ हों, वो आप लिख सकते हैं. In the meanwhile, you can use this time. आई होप ये सेशन बहुत फ्रूटफुल रहने वाला है आप लोगों के लिए. वी आर जस्ट वेटिंग फॉर द डॉक्टर साहब टू कनेक्ट अगेन. देयर इज सम टेक्नोलॉजिकल ग्लिच एट हिज एंड.
हाँ मैं होल्ड कर रहा हूँ. हाँ उसी पे बात कर लेंगे हम बात कर, हैं मेरे को आवाज आ रही कि नहीं आ रही मेरी? ओके
डॉक्टर साहब अब आपकी वॉइस ऑडिबल है।
मेरी आवाज ऑडिबल है अब?
हाँ जी, यस प्लीज गो अहेड।
चलो अब स्टार्ट करते हैं, हैं? we can receive the MLC we can receive the MLC in 3 ways. That is, sometimes a case brought to us by the police for examination and reporting. Any case brought by the police for examination and reporting, we usually take it in MLC. That particular case, which has been labeled pre-labeled as MLC, is also taken as MLC and no fresh MLC is made for them. Thirdly, if any fresh case comes to us for treatment even, the doctor will take the proper history and examination, and during history and examination, if he feels that any legal requirement is there, then he will make the MLC.
डॉक्टर साहब प्लीज कनेक्शन एक बार, इफ आई मे इंटरप्ट फॉर अ मिनट, आप प्लीज एक बार कनेक्शन को चेक कीजिए सर, आपका थोड़ा सा वॉइस ब्रेक हो रहा है बीच बीच में डॉक्टर साहब।
एक हो रहा है,
हाँ प्लीज
अब
कंटिन्यू।
देखिए। हेलो, अब ठीक है?
यस नाउ इट्स ऑडिबल। यस
अभी ठीक है?
हाँ जी डॉक्टर साहब।
ठीक है, एक्चुअली वो, चलो ठीक है। Any
जी।
medical legal report has 3 parts. Whatever reports we prepare, maybe medical legal case, maybe age report, maybe for drunken person, for anything. It has 3 parts: preamble, body, and postamble. Preamble, here I am giving you the figure or whatever the MLC we have in our hospital. Here you can see in the upper box, there are I think preamble is there, and the side is also preamble. That is the name, age, sex, another person who has brought the patient, what time he has been brought, all the preliminary things are there. And this middle part you can see is the part where we can have the proper examination and we note down the finding. Then the next part is low down, which has an opinion. I'm coming to the opinion, what type of opinion we write and what type of opinion we face the problems later on, and the courts might be faced. Every medical report, these type of forms are there. The back side of the form, usually we have the figures of the person, so that we can mark the any injury, which part is there, and mark number 1, 2, and 3 about that injury. This is the form we use for the age reporting. Again, this form having first up to this is the preamble, then observations, physical examination, and this is the part of dental examination, and third part is the opinion we give. So any report, any medical legal report, I have given the example of 2, will have 3 parts. That is preamble, where preliminaries are there, and second is the observations or whatever findings we note down, and thirdly is the opinion. Now, I am just going to give you what are there in the preamble again. It includes date and time and place of examination, name of the patient, residential address, official accompanying, any FIR, DD number, whatsoever already been given. And we take the informed consent of the patient and 2 marks of identification. This is again everything I have written in the other form. Body. Actually, it includes a complete description of the injuries, any other finding present, any investigations, referral, etc. Here actually is the crunch of situation. Whatever findings we observe are being noted down and which are being later discussed and find out. Then details of examination are there. Here, alleged history is also written. To be precise, the patient legibly written, description of injuries, abbreviations are avoided. When in doubt, consultation obtained. Minor injuries also are noted. Now, the third is the main part for which the courts and other persons are concerned, and they want the opinion. what opinion we have given. Here we give the nature of injuries, whether it is simple or grievous, weapon or force used, whether blood sharp or firearms or burns, etc. Based on the characteristics of the external injuries, any other information that may prove to be helpful, and sometimes we have to keep the opinion pending. We have to make it here only. Now, sometimes the patient is these cases we have to certify about the fitness of the person. As part of documentation, medical
Sir, I think your phone or any other device is too close to the laptop, so that's why the voice is honking.
I think Prakash H34112 उनका माइक ऑन है 2 जगह। हाँ, अब ठीक है आवाज।
Okay. Doctor sir, please proceed.
Doctor Saab, the voice is again missing. Hello.
वो प्रकाश 34114 डॉक्टर साहब ही तो नहीं थे। I'll look into it. Let's give it one more try. फुल चल जाएगा आवाज।
अब माइक ऑन किया है, आ गई आवाज? चलो बंद कर रहा हूं।
हाँ जी डॉक्टर साहब, आ गई है। आप प्लीज अपने पीछे का इंस्ट्रूमेंट बंद कर दीजिए, आपकी वॉइस इको हो रही है।
डॉक्टर साहब कह रहे थे उन्होंने एक ही डिवाइस से लॉगिन करा है। ये कोई प्रकाश 34114 है जिन्होंने 2 डिवाइसेस से लॉगिन करा हुआ है, दोनों के माइक्स ऑन थे, तो उसकी वजह से भी
प्रकाश जी,
इको कर रही
Okay.
प्रकाश जी, हाँ, अपने माइक तो ऑफ रखिए प्लीज। डॉक्टर साहब कंटिन्यू करें।
मेरी कलम म्यूट हुई है ना। वीडियो
वीडियो भी अनम्यूट है। स्टार्ट वीडियो करोगे?
हेलो
विधि, व्हाट इज ही सेइंग? डॉक्टर साहब क्या कह रहे हैं?
सर, वो तो कह रहे हैं मैंने एक ही डिवाइस से लॉगिन कर रखा है, और आई वंडर उनकी आवाज अभी तो आ गई थी।
If he can do away with this PPT and वो वैसे बता दे हमें सब चीजें, तो भी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है।
मैं पूछती हूँ सर, मैं बात करती हूँ एक बार।
राइट राइट।
डॉक्टर साहब, स्क्रीन शेयरिंग आपने स्टॉप कर दी है। अब आई थिंक आप ऑडिबल होंगे, एक बार कुछ बोलें।
He is still not audible.
आई वंडर सर।
He can log through cell phone also if there is some problem
मैं
with
वही
his
एक बार ट्राई
computer.
करवाती हूँ।
We seek apology from our advocates also, जिन्होंने बहुत patience रखा हुआ है. So sometimes technology makes you helpless also. So kindly bear with us. थोड़ा सा patience रखें. Dr. Saab is trying hard to get connected.
मैं डॉक्टर साहब को बोलती हूँ, या तो एग्जिट करके एंटर करें मीटिंग।
Yes, yes, ma'am. Vidhi ma'am. Yes, yes. Please. In the meanwhile, हम लोग I think one of our panel advocates अंकुर जैन जी ने question post किया है कि if injury is not shown in the MLC but in postmortem it is mentioned as injury as a cause of death, so what are its consequences?
सर, डॉक्टर साहब ने एग्जिट करा है और
Okay.
वो अब फोन के थ्रू लॉग इन कर रहे हैं।
Okay, fine. So in the meanwhile, we can see this question. We will obviously be asking this question from our resource person of today. But Ankurji, actually I haven't come across any such thing कि MLC पर बिल्कुल mention ना हो और PM report में आपके आ जाए. See, then obviously it raises a question on the authenticity of the MLC or the PM report. Either the PM report is not disclosing the real facts or the MLC. Then we'll have to obviously scrutinize both the evidences separately. and collate also. We have to collate them also, and then obviously the court is the ultimate. Court will ultimately decide that which of the documents is more reliable. But here comes the role of you people also, because examination होगा and then cross examination of the doctor जिन्होंने PM report बनाई and of the doctor जिन्होंने MLC बनाई, and then obviously the photographs, because photographs of the dead body will also be there ना. So we can very well correlate the photographs with the injuries mentioned on the MLC or the post-mortem. So all those things will be taken together, studied together, scrutinized together. Only then the court will come to a conclusion. So my answer, if we are in a discussion, then my answer would be that it will depend upon the interpretation of those and scrutinization of those documents. क्योंकि तीनों document को पढ़ना पड़ेगा हमें पूरी तरह, MLC को, postmortem को, and then photographs को. जैसे we can
ये
come to some conclusion.
अभी सुन पा रहे हो?
हाँ जी डॉक्टर साहब प्लीज. हाँ
अभी
जी
सुन पा रहे हो?
ऑडिबल है. यस
अभी
प्लीज
सुन पा रहे
कंटिन्यू
हो?
साहब.
अभी सुन पा रहे हो?
हाँ जी हाँ जी हाँ जी डॉक्टर साहब.
अभी स्क्रीन आ रही है?
स्क्रीन नहीं आ रही है डॉक्टर साहब आपकी.
स्क्रीन नहीं आ रही है, सुन पा रहे हो? हैं?
जी
चलो
जी,
ठीक
हाँ
ठीक है, फिर फोटोग्राफ्स नहीं
डॉक्टर
दिखा
साहब
पाएंगे
नीचे
आपको.
देखिए,
हाँ जी,
डॉक्टर साहब नीचे
हेलो.
देखिए कैमरा बना होगा एक, नीचे देखिए कैमरा बना होगा आपकी स्क्रीन पे, अगर वो रेड कलर का है तो उस पे क्लिक कर दीजिए.
हाँ वो हो गया हो गया हो गया. लेकिन बात यह है कि मैडम इसमें पीपीटी नहीं है ना, तो जिससे कि मैं फोटोग्राफ नहीं दिखा पाऊंगा.
डजंट मैटर डॉक्टर साहब, आप प्लीज अपने कंटेंट को ओरली भी बता सकते हैं.
हाँ मैं ओरली बता.
जी
चलो
डॉक्टर
अभी हम बता रहे थे डियर कि ऐसा है कि लास्ट पार्ट होता है ओपिनियन, जिसमें तो सर्टिफाइंग फिटनेस ऑफ द बाय द डॉक्टर दैट पर्सन इज फिट और नॉट, and the next part is opinion, where we give whether the simple, grievous or dangerous injury is there. And sometimes we have to keep the opinion at hold because of the x-rays and other things. Then documentation of the medical case usually done in a duplicate performa as per hospital policies, and one performa is given to the police and one is being kept to the hospital. Separate performas may be available for medical examination and examination of drunkenness and everything. And all these columns are filled with accuracy and with due caution. Then this documentation is properly done, and the police constable of the area is informed whenever the police case comes, and he takes over and we hand over the patient to him for further investigation. Medical reports are to be prepared immediately after examination done. As far as possible, abbreviation of any sort should be avoided. And we try to avoid any abbreviations. I will come to the word, what type of abbreviations are usually used and what type of words usually used by them. Then type of injuries which we usually get in these patients is mechanical injuries, thermal injuries, chemical injuries, or sometimes we get any type of firearm injuries also. The mechanical injuries, as you all know, is some form of abrasion, bruise, laceration, incised wound, stab wound, firearm wound, or fractures are there. And these, I will coming to these one by one. Whereas thermal injuries can be form of burns and scars, which is the most common injuries which we are getting in our OPD and also in our casualty also. And most of the deaths occurs due to burns also. It is in the one of the major cause of domestic violence also. Then we have the thermal injuries in the form of frostbite, trench foot, immersion foot. Chemical injuries, throwing of acids, irritants, vitriol, you all know. Injuries due to electricity, lightning, X-rays, radioactive substances also there, which you must have observed in the cases of Bihar recently, when so many persons had died due to lightning and other things. It can occur. Now, when we examine the injury, there are four things which are supposed to be noted by us, the doctors. What was the type of injury? What was size and shape of the injury? Where it was situated? Proper site to be mentioned, which direction it is there, and what was the nature of it. Type of injury as far as concerned, as I have just told you, is in the form of a bruise, abrasion, laceration, incise, penetrating fire. This we will tell. And depending upon that, if it is a bruise, it may be caused by which type of weapon, we may answer. Now, few words about the bruise. Bruise is a fusion of blood into tissues, and there is continuity of skin is not lost in this. Bruise may be small pinhead or large collection of blood. So any size of bruise, these bruise with the can be of two types mainly: patterned bruising or delayed bruising. Patterned bruising, sometimes with the shape and size of the wound and directions of the wound after examining, we are able to tell which weapon has caused. Suppose एक डंडा है, डंडे से किसी को मारा, तो what type of bruise we will get is parallel linear hemorrhages we will see. Sometimes ectopic bruise is there. What happens is that suppose if a blow is there over the head, if a blow is there over the head, what will happen is the injury will occur over the head, but the blood will trickle down through the superficial layers of the skin and come to the in front of eye. And we may find a black eye type of pattern in these cases. So finding of black eye is an indication that a bruise has occurred over the head, and it is an ectopic bruise. That the ectopic means injury has occurred at some other place, whereas bruise has been seen at some other place. We can also tell the age of the bruise. So just by examining the bruise, we can tell if a fresh bruise is there, it will be red. Within a half day to 3 days, it turns to blue. The color of the bruise will tell the age of the bruise. 4 days it is bluish black, 5 to 6 days it will be greenish, and 7 to 12 days it is greenish yellow. And within 2 weeks, the skin will come to the normal. Now, this is something important in the case of bruise because the size also corresponds to the weapon, shape also corresponds to time, and it takes some time to appear also sometimes. And I'm not showing you the actually these bruises. Sometimes a person comes to us, sitting in the clinic, a patient, a child is brought to us with multiple bruises and abrasions on the faces and chest. And this usually indicates because of the multiple and the usual history given by the patients or relatives is ये चलते चलते स्कूटर से खेलते हुए गिर गया या साइकिल चला रहा था गिर गया, लेकिन this history does not correspond to the injuries what we see over this, and this is due to battered baby. Multiple beating of the child is battered baby, and we find multiple bruises over these children. Then coming to abrasion. In abrasion, there is destruction of the skin, which usually involves the superficial layers of the skin. And this abrasion usually caused by the friction. And these abrasions can be scratch due to scratch of the fingernails, pins, or wider thrust. There can be graze or sliding abrasions. सड़क पे गिर गया, उसकी वजह से सर हो गया because of the rough surface of the ground. And then we have pressure or friction abrasions. Just in the case of ligature strangulation, case of mark of hanging. Then we have sometimes the imprint or patterned abrasions, which shows what type of injury, what type of weapon has been used. We can also tell the age of the abrasion by looking after. Fresh abrasions are usually bright red in color. Within 24 hours, it will become reddish. 2 to 3 hours, 2 to 3 days, it will give a brownish scab. Within 4 to 5 days, it will have a dark brown scab. And this scab falls within a week to 2 weeks with the abrasion. We have sometimes postmortem abrasions, usually seen on bony surface because of friction. And in these abrasions, there is no bleeding from the postmortem. This is the usual questions asked in the court. ये abrasion postmortem भी तो हो सकता है, death के बाद भी तो हुई. Now coming to lacerations. You must have seen so many times the doctors have written clean lacerated wound or laceration. Lacerations are actually tears or splits of the skin, and they are caused by blows from blunt objects. These lacerations are usually caused by blunt objects. Bruises are also caused by blunt objects, whereas abrasions might have been caused by pin or other substance. Tearing at the ends may occur, which will give a tailing of the wound. Then we have some wounds present over the bony prominences, which are known as incised-looking lacerated. Now, sometimes a person wants to go for the suicide. What he does, he will try to cut the veins or arteries present over the wrist. He will try to cut, and while cutting, he will have some hesitational cuts over that wrist or some part of the wound body. And these less hesitational cuts are usually parallel in nature and can lead to death of the person when the vein cuts. And one of the last one is usually the deeper one. And these person sometimes we can be saved. Lacerated wounds are also found in accidents, and these are causing crush injury to any organ. And sometimes we have to amputate that limb in these cases. I'm sorry I'm not able to show these photographs. I have kept so many good photographs, but sorry for that. Then we have the incised wounds. Incised wounds are usually done by some razor, knife, or scalpel. They are clean cut wounds. The margins are very clean cut, well defined, and usually averted in these cases. There is no contusion at the edges in these cases. Now, incised wounds are again fresh or having hematoma, whereas within 12 hours, we have edges are red, swollen and adherent with blood and lymph. Within 24 hours, continuous layer of endothelial cells is there, and within 1 to 2 weeks, a scar is formed in these cases also. Now, with the help of scalpel, also these type of injuries are produced, or any knife or razor can cause these wounds. Sometimes single-edged or double-edged questions are asked. This depending upon the situation, other things. Then we have some stab or punctured wound. Stab or punctured wound is a wound usually produces a penetration of a pointed weapon like dagger, knife, needle, screwdriver, etc. And its depth is greater than length. Then we have punctured wound is called penetrating wound. When it enters into a body cavity, but when the weapon enters the body on one side and comes from the other side, that is perforating. It means that penetrating will enter into the body cavity, whereas perforating will be through and through. Wounds are there. Then we have these injuries are usually caused by a pointed, sharp-edged weapon, and these injuries may cause the injury to the internal organs also. Then, when a case was reported where a woman has gone for defecation, during that time she has delivered a child, and she, in a haste, she tried to put that child into the lavatory pan, and whatever the instrument was there, sharp-edged instrument was there some side by, and with the help of that, she tried to keep it into the, just force it, उसके अंदर डालने की कोशिश करी, और जिससे कि there were so many wounds, sharp-edged stab wounds were there over the body of that newborn, and the child died. I'm not able to show you that photographs with you, sorry. Then we have some chop wounds. Chop wounds are usually caused by heavy sharp cutting weapon like gandasa. The margins of this are sharp and may show slight bruising. Then we have fractures, maybe of different types, usually caused by then with rifle, firearm injuries, entry and exit wounds. Now, general, whenever we describe any injury, the size and shape, as I have told you, has to be described of that injury. And this size and shape may be size, length, breadth, and depth. All the three should be measured and mentioned. Nowadays, usually in centimeters and not inch. Shape of the injury we mentioned, whether it's oval, circular, linear, concentric, irregular, spindle, triangular, whatever shape of the injury has to be mentioned, because the shape of the injury help us both in determining what type of injury it is and what weapon it has been caused by the injury. Then location of the injury, which part of the body whether this injury is present. That is direction of the injury. That direction of the injury, vertical, horizontal, oblique, position from two fixed points. We take it usually when we measure these injuries, two bony prominences, we measure the distance. How much away or present it is there in the body. What is the direction of the injury? If it is a stab wound, we try to locate the direction and pull total track of the injury and to mention. Whatever talking about the injury now, it will be applicable both in MLC and postmortem. Now, the madam was telling you there are terms which you usually use and may not be known to the layman or the persons who is not of the medical background. Few of them are already known, and my dear advocates knows approximately most of them. Thorax, medically, it is a chest area. Pelvis is area below umbilicus. Lower extremity, leg below hip joint. Upper extremity, arm below shoulder. Cervical region is neck. Forearms are elbow, wrist. Arm and upper arm are shoulder, elbow. When we use the word carpal, it is the finger bones are known as carpal. Tarsals are the feet bones. Scalp is the area over the skull. Then mandible is the lower jaw. Maxilla is the upper jaw. Sternum is the bone of the mid chest. Clavicle is the collarbone. These are the words which we usually use are there. Word which we again use is proximal. Whenever we try to describe any injury, near to center of the body is the proximal, away from the center is distal, anterior or ventral injury. It means it is on the front of the body, person or body. Then we use the term posterior or dorsal. Posterior or dorsal, it denotes back of the body. Then we have the flexor. That is, flexor is usually front and extensor is usually it is the word back for we use. Then coming to the word nature of injuries which we have to describe, usually we have to tell that is simple, grievous or dangerous. Again, these are the terms, legal terms. I am not going to do too much details. Simple is again a definition is there, but is neither extensive nor serious. Where grievous or that 8 clauses has been given. Dangerous, there is no legal definition as we know, but injury that poses immediate, imminent or impending threat to life and is sufficient to cause death in ordinary course of nature is there. Opinion while giving an MLC. It varies actually from case to case. It should actually include the opinion itself include, it should be self-explanatory so that sometimes the lawyers and judges are not supposed to read, not need the what is written in the body, may not be. It should mention the number of total injuries, what was the duration of injuries, at what time the injuries might have, cause of injury is there, what can be caused and what was the nature. And if possible, what type of weapon was used in the case. Now, after seeing this, usually the lawyers ask what was the character of injury. The code. It depends upon the nature and shape of the weapon. That is, we examine the nature and shape of the weapon, amount of energy in the weapon or instrument when it strikes the body, whether inflicted on a moving or fixed body, it was nature of tissue involved, and at which area the force actually had. Second question is, was the injury inflicted during life or death? This was the question, really, whether injury was antemortem. We have to see where the hemorrhage externally and into the tissues. The detection of edges of the wound, which usually cannot occur after death. Signs of inflammation or repair has to be seen. Now, whenever we examine a weapon, what things we are supposed to note down? We are supposed to note down at what time exactly we are examining, date and time, situation and number of time and type of wounds present over the body, which can occur due to the size, shape and direction of the wounds, condition of edges of the wounds, hemorrhage, its amount and its source. All these things we have to examine for the weapon, and diagram of the weapon which is possible should be there.
Mr. Jitendra Kumar, please switch off your mic.
Then
सब continue करें.
कोई नहीं. Then giving the opinion, usually we give the opinion this form. That is, it may be weapon has been sent to us for examination, and we have examined the weapon, we have examined the MLC made in that case, maybe postmortem report, and we have whatever injuries were there in the person, living or dead. We will give the opinion in the form. After examination of the weapon and injuries, I am of the opinion that injury number so and so are possible by this weapon or this type of weapon under examination, maybe knife, shuri, etc., whatsoever it is. Or if it is not possible, we will say that after examination weapon or injuries, I am of the opinion that injuries number so and so are unlikely to be not possible to be caused by this weapon. This type of opinion we give. And whenever we give the opinion, we can say that this weapon or this type of weapon. We cannot be sure that particular weapon has been used only and no other weapon has been used, because it might be possible that same type of weapon might have been brought by the investigator. This was a little bit about the injuries, and now coming to autopsy examination and reports. Again, here I will be coming to some salient points on, not all. What is a postmortem examination? It is an examination after death, and autopsy is a postmortem assessment or examination of a dead body to determine primarily the cause. Now, autopsy is a highly specialized surgical procedure that consists of a thorough examination of a corpse to determine the cause and manner of death, and to evaluate any disease or injury that may be present, and is usually performed by a specialized medical doctor called a forensic pathologist. Now, autopsy is mainly of two types, that is clinical or academic autopsy or pathological autopsy, we say, and second is medical legal autopsy. Very rarely the clinical, pathological or academic autopsy is performed in government, and this is performed with the consent of the relatives to determine the diagnosis or cause of death. Iski death क्यों हुई? To know that. When even the doctors are not sure, I was treating properly, but how the death has occurred in this case, what not? to confirm diagnosis wherever it is possible. Now coming to medical legal or forensic autopsy, for which we are mainly concerned in this case. This preliminaries here I can say a medical legal autopsy is to be carried out at the behest of the appropriate legal authority. Usually the request is given to us by a person not less than the sub-inspector or assistant sub-inspector to carry out the autopsy under the Police Act. And sometimes in custodial death, the inquest is being done by magistrates. Then the request is given to us by them through police or mail. With the requisition, a copy of the inquest, hospital records, or any other relevant papers is used. Request letter has to be sent with all the inquest proceedings which had been conducted till that time, with whatever hospital records or any other relevant papers. And this medical legal postmortem examination is only performed at all authorized centers. It cannot be performed at all the hospitals until and unless that center has been authorized by the governor or lieutenant governor of the area. Now, this you cannot see, I have brought a form for request, whatever we use in the hospital, which shows that they give the police officers usually give the request to tell us the opinion about the cause of their time since death. And during request letter, if the police officer or the investigative officer wants anything to be preserved, he can ask us. Well, secondly, we during the postmortem examination, if we think this needs to be kept, we can keep it also. Now, why we conduct the postmortem? What are the objectives of conducting the postmortem? Is mainly ascertaining the cause. This is what is the most important. What is the cause of death, and what was the mode of death, and what was the manner of death. For all these things, we conduct the inquest. What was the time since death? कितने घंटे पहले death हुई थी? It sometimes to know the identity of the individual. For this, we may have to keep some fingerprints and other things, or any identification mark present over the body. Sometimes so many things. Collect and preserve the exhibits and gather any other information which we get during the investigation. Then, autopsy is sometimes partial or complete. Partial means sometimes at some places which should not be allowed, does not allow for the partial autopsy. But sometimes what happens is that at some places they know the cause of death, and doctor in a hurry does not open all the body. But all the body should be open to know, and all the organs should be examined to know the cause. Then it was known as partial. What are the objectives of medical legal autopsy? We in medical legal autopsy to describe in detail all external as well as internal injuries, to demonstrate the details of all external and internal injuries, to obtain samples of tissues or body fluids for examination, analysis wherever necessary. This is the form, you must have seen it. Our autopsy forms, first page have all the preliminaries of the person. It is just like other forms, preliminaries. Then who brought it, who are the persons who had identified it, our case, and then brief history and what are the general observation. Second page, our form have the external injuries, whatever we examined, as injuries we have described. And third page, coming for the internal examination. What we examine internally, because of from the body, maybe from any of the three big cavities, head and neck, chest, and abdomen. Any of the three cavities, whatever we examine, is noted down. And the last page is actually whatever we have preserved, whatever the opinion we have given, and any remarks we preserve. Now, the NHRC has developed a separate form for custodial deaths, and which we use for the custodial. Now, signs of death which we usually observe are early signs and late signs. Early signs are mainly seen in change in the eyes, skin, cooling of the body, and postmortem state. Rigor mortis, putrefaction, and adiposity and mummifications are mainly the late signs. And this signs we have to examine properly, because on the basis of this we have to give the time series and marbleization of the skin. Sometimes the body, skeletonized body is found in these cases, mummified. Then we have to tell about the mode of death. That is shock, asphyxia, or coma is the main three types of. And manner of death: accidental, suicidal, homicidal, natural. The answer of this question usually does not come to us, does not belong to us, if I will say that. Because in usually it is the circumstantial evidence. We can tell what was the cause of that. It was due to death caused by blunt force trauma. Whether this blunt force trauma has been caused by, for accidental purpose, by fall, or sometimes by lathi blow, by lathi, we may not be able to tell. This is the circumstantial evidences. We can tell about the natural disease, whether the person was suffering from the natural disease or not. It may happen in this. Then we have the asphyxial death cases, usually hanging, complete and partial hanging, when the body touch the surface or not. Then we have the strangulation, manual strangulation, leg related strangulation. All these type of cases we are getting and describing. And suffocation cases of suffocation are there. Smothering is there, which is mainly we are getting. With the help of pillow, we are able to tell sometimes, because the marks of softness or whiteness over the around the lips are seen, or even the undersurface of the lips are sometimes lacerated. Then we have the case of drowning, where we can tell about the drowning. Then we have the cases of coronary artery disease. We examine the heart properly and see the coronaries present, whether they are, how much percentage it is blocked, whether it can cause death or not. Then we have sometimes electric burns, and these are the cases of electric burns. Sometimes it can be missed, the entry and exit point of the electrical burns. Sometimes in being missed by our persons, and it becomes difficult for us to tell this. But it is always preferable to see the entry point of the electric burns usually in the hands, whereas exit point is usually seen in the lower part of the body, that is in the foot. Then we have sometimes poisoning cases where we are supposed to preserve the viscera for examination, and this viscera should be examined and for chemical analysis and sent. And in these cases, usually externally, because there is no injury marks present over the body, is there. Sometimes we have the congested internal organs, and viscera which we are usually supposed to preserve is stomach with all its contents, small intestine 1 meter, and in liver 400 to 500, kidneys half of each kidney, whole spleen. All these things are supposed to be preserved, and sometimes in viscera has to be preserved. In some special cases, there is heavy metal poisoning. We may have to preserve the nails and scalp. Brain is there. Then, in the case of hypnotic poisons, uterus and vagina to be preserved in suspected use of abortifacient drugs, if it is there, or injected by spinal cord in the case of strychnine poisoning, and it all depends on what type of poison. Then, the major question being asked to us is about the time since. Time since that. For this, it is the all the things major. We examine the death certificate inquest, right? Because in hospital deaths there is no concern much. But another case, in the hospital deaths and the deaths, nowadays usually the bodies are brought immediately to the mortuary, and all the changes which we are getting disturbed because of the temperature changes in the body. Then We have to examine all the postmortem changes, circumstantial evidence, death certificates, and inquest papers. All are usually held. Just summarizing few of the things which usually help, that is rigor mortis usually start appearing within 1 hour in the heart, followed by eyelids, neck and trunks, upper extremities, lower extremities. And stomach emptying time, which is usually taken as a measure by all of us and usually seen whether stomach was full or empty at the time of postmortem examination. That shows if undigested stomach contents are present, then death might have occurred within 0 to 2 hours after last meal. If stomach is empty but food is found in small intestine, then death occurs 4 to 6 hours after a meal. And if the small intestines are empty and wastes are found in the large intestine, then death occurs 12 or more hours after a meal. These are some of these rough things which I have told you are can give us about the time slippage. Sometimes maggots are also present, and according to the presence of or absence of maggots and at what stages of maggots are present, give us the clue about the time slippage. Other things which the police and other persons usually see at the scene of death are cell phone record, death must have occurred between last call attended and first call unattended, milk bottles, uncollected milk water, newspapers found at the house, stopped wristwatches, date of uncollected mails, so and things. Now, few words about the negative or obscure autopsy. That is, sometimes we are not able to come to a cause of death. It may be due to inadequacy in inquest, incomplete or misleading history, high degree of putrefaction, or sometimes anything by the histopathological examination. In these autopsy, there is no definite cause of death. Findings are minimal, and there is source of confusion to the autopsy surgeon. Or sometimes the body is highly decomposed, and then we cannot able to give the cause of death. In these cases, we have to interview the persons who have observed the disease before his death. Medical examination of the disease should be done for the coronary laboratory examinations, and sometimes even with all these things, we may not be able to get the cause of that. It may be due to vagal inhibition also. And sometimes we miss some concealed hinges present over the parts of the body, that is between the hairs or even in the mouth. Sometimes these type of injuries are missed by the persons who are examining the body at the time of postmortem. So it has also been seen in the case of electrical, sometimes very small anti-wounds are present over the hand, which are being missed by the person who was conducting the postmortems and leading to negative autopsy when the cause of death is there to the electrical bulbs. So one should be meticulous and perform all these things. We are sometimes writing words which are not of taste. That is public does not know. The person OD word, this is usually mostly other words, these words which are used by the clinicians and also in the MLC. OD once in a day to take that tablet. BD tablet is twice a day. TDS 3 times a day. QOD 4 times. HS at night only. SOS whenever required. That is painkiller or anything. Then we have IV, that is intravenous. IM, intramuscular. LAMA, leave against medical advice. The DOR sometimes discharge on request. Sometimes IX or investigations. INV, that is investigation. MX or RX is written for management. These are the sometimes words used by my colleagues, and maybe a list, bigger list, which I may not be knowing or may not be able to recapitulate. Now, in end, I will ask you one thing: medicine is art or science? Medicine is art or science? One of my friends have written back to me: medicine is an art performed in scientific way. That is, we can come to the conclusion of the concept of anything, and this conclusion decides answer to all questions of our life. With these words, I stop, and questions are invited.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
The information was very useful. I think अगर PPT हम आपकी देख पाते, unfortunately देख नहीं पाए due to internet connectivity, तो बहुत ही अच्छा होता. पर
उसमें
मैं
मेरी
request
स्लाइडें और फोटोग्राफ्स बहुत अच्छे थे मैडम, विच आई मिस, विच आई एक मैंने वीडियो भी तैयार करी हुई थी डाइंग डिक्लेरेशन की. डाइंग डिक्लेरेशन की 3-4 साल पहले आपके बडिंग मजिस्ट्रेट्स का मैंने क्लास ली थी डाइंग डिक्लेरेशन पे. उसकी एक वीडियो तैयार करी थी कैसे लेते हैं डायग्रामेटिक प्रेजेंटेशन पेशेंट वगैरह बना के.
अगर शेयर कर सके तो बेहतर होगा. मैं एडवोकेट्स के साथ शेयर कर दूंगी अगर पॉसिबल है तो. बाकी मैं अब हैंड ओवर करती हूँ माइक मनु मैम को कि आगे प्रोसीड करें क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर सेशन के साथ.
Right. Okay, thank you, Vidhi. Thank you, Dr. Agarwal. Though we had certain technical glitches, but overall session काफी elaborate था, and in a very lucid manner the medical terminology was explained by you. I think
मैडम आवाज साफ नहीं आ रही. मैडम आवाज साफ नहीं आ रही है आपकी.
मैम आ तो रही है क्लियरली.
अब आ गई, क्लियर आ गई, अब क्लियर आ गई है. हाँ बताइए मैडम.
मनु मैम आवाज नहीं आ रही मुझे आपकी. संदीप सर आपको आ रही है मनु मैम की आवाज?
MLC में सर जो टर्मिनोलॉजी यूज होती है और उनका कॉमन लैंग्वेज में डिस्क्रिप्शन, मतलब एक स्टैंडर्ड जो MLC रहती है.
कोई वर्ड बताइए मैडम जो टर्मिनोलॉजी जिसका मीनिंग कॉमन लैंग्वेज में पूछना चाहते हैं.
Common term.
Jayant, Mr. Jayant Kaushal has asked this question. So, sir, can you kindly unmute yourself and ask some specific words? Jayant Kaushal ji. I think he's not here, so we'll proceed with the next question.
मैडम उसमें एमएलसी में हम यूजुअली प्रॉक्सिमल डिस्टेंस और ऑर्गन और रीजन को डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए वर्ड यूज करते हैं. मेरे ख्याल से वो मैंने बताए भी थे कुछ वर्ड्स. ताकि स्पेसिफिक वर्ड कोई होगा तो आई कैन शेयर विद देम. आप पूछिए नेक्स्ट मैडम.
The next question is, in most of the cases, the MLC is prepared as a formality, and according to what the IO says, कि मतलब IO जैसे भी बताता है हम उसके हिसाब से MLC डॉक्टर जो प्रिपेयर कर देते हैं, without even seeing the weapon of the offense, the doctor gives the opinion how to combat these practices.
Madam, पहली बात तो I will like to say that this type of practice is usually not followed in our hospital. But if it has been followed by some of our colleagues, I cannot say about them. Then in these particular cases, I am usually taking the classes for medical legal for this all CMOs sitting in the casualty also. So from time to time, they should properly see it is whatever the information IO gives is a guiding opinion. It guides only. But we have to examine so many times in during postmortems and medical legal cases, we have given the different opinion. Opinion differs. And it usually happens, and we document usually these type of opinions with photographs also. And this type of practice, if has happened somewhere, I am in doubt. If it happened, it should not happen.
Okay, if we, Dr. Saab, if we talk about general medical examination of an accused, say when an accused is arrested and is brought for his medical examination before the doctor.
दोबारा बताइए मैडम.
हाँ जी, जैसे एक accused को मुल्जिम को जब अरेस्ट करते हैं and then he is brought in the hospital for his medical examination.
Yes, madam.
उस समय जो डॉक्टर होते हैं वो बहुत ही स्टीरियोटाइप एग्जामिनेशन करते हैं. The doctor just records the vitals, BP or वो सब रिकॉर्ड करके एंड जनरली ही मेंशंस नो एक्सटर्नल इंजरी फाउंड. There is no detailed examination of the accused.
That is whatever the individual level. If some things are not done in a proper way, we have to take care of that. And for this, I just told you, we are trying to do medical legal workshops for them from time to time for these persons. But if a person, accused person is brought to the hospital, they should be properly examined for all type of injuries whatsoever are present over the body, apart from the vitals, and this should be examined. And sometimes what has happened is our seniors are not able to come or not there. The junior doctors or trainee doctors sometimes are there.
मैम मेरा एक क्वेश्चन था, इफ आई मे बी परमिटेड. मैंने आई वाज इन महिला कोर्ट प्रायर टू जॉइनिंग दिस पोस्टिंग, तो वहाँ डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस के और 498A के केसेस आते थे. तो कई बार एमएलसी सामने आती थी, तो लड़की के ऊपर जो इंजरी मार्क्स होते थे, कई बार स्क्रैच मार्क्स होते थे या कुछ इस टाइप के मार्क्स होते थे, तो लड़की तो कहती थी कि लड़के ने या उसके परिवार वालों ने करा है. और क्रॉस में जो डिफेंस काउंसिल है, वो सबसे पहली चीज यही बोलते थे कि लड़की की सेल्फ इन्फ्लिक्टेड इंजरीज है, हमको फंसाने के लिए. तो डॉक्टर साहब, ऐसा कोई पैरामीटर है जज करने के लिए कि इंजरी सेल्फ इन्फ्लिक्टेड हो सकती है कि नहीं, और उसे कैसे जज करें?
If the injuries are present over the accessible part, that is, if she has inflicted the injuries herself, तो उसका हाथ वहां तक जाना चाहिए, right or left handed she is there. First and the foremost thing is that उसकी टेलिंग ऑफ द वुंड भी देखते हैं, इंजरीज भी हम देखते हैं किस तरह से टेलिंग हुई है. राइट, अगर उसने शी राइट हैंडेड, उसका हाथ उधर जा सकता था या नहीं जा सकता था, ये सब देखना पड़ता है. एंड वी आर यूजुअली एबल टू टेल वेदर इट इंजरी इज सेल्फ इन्फ्लिक्टेड और नॉट. These types of questions should be sent to us. If not to the directly to the doctor who has examined, you can send it directly to the department also. I think we will be able to tell in a better way. And we are telling it. So many referred cases are coming to us by the police officers or by your presiding officers, and we are able to tell it.
No, but then the opinion is merely that the chances of self-inflicted injury cannot be ruled out. वैसे तो खैर होता ही नहीं है. When a victim of domestic violence she goes, it is only mentioned that history of so and so, what all are the bruises say, but it is not mentioned that the chances of self-inflicted injury cannot be ruled out.
In my talk somewhere I told that is circumstantial evidence has to be seen at so many places, but we will be able to tell chances of this injury being caused by self-infliction cannot be ruled out. These type of answers we can give it, and whether it was self-inflicted or not, actually that is circumstantial evidence will be able to tell, and the IO will be able to see. We can say it is possible we is self-inflicted.
Right.
एक और क्वेश्चन था मैम मेरा कि सर ने बात की थी कि पूरे फुल बॉडी पे कई बार इंजरी आती है, या फ्रंट में या बैक पे. अगर जैसे हम कहते हैं कि गिरने से चोट लगी है, तो गिरने से क्या फुल बॉडी पर आ सकती है क्या, या फिर ये होगा कि गिरे एक डायरेक्शन में गिरते हैं तो एक पर्टिकुलर एरिया ऑफ बॉडी ही इफेक्ट होगा? जो इंजरी फ्रॉम फॉल है, काफी बारी बाद में क्रॉस में या चीज आ जाता है कि मैं गिर गया था, मैं फिसल गया था, इसीलिए चोट लगी. वो कैसे जान सकते हैं कि गिरने से चोट लगी है या अदरवाइज लगी है?
देखो ऐसा है मैडम कि जब गिरने से चोट लगती है तो एक ही साइड पे चोट लगती है मोस्टली, जिस साइड पे वो गिरता है. लेकिन कई बार वो इफ द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ फॉल इज मोर, तो उसको सेकेंडरी इंजरीज भी होने के चांसेस होते हैं कि उधर से गिर के दूसरी साइड पे भी गिर सकता है. पर 90% इसमें हमारा ओपिनियन तो यही आता है वेदर इट द इंजरी इज काज्ड बाय ब्लंट फोर्स. इसी तरह का एक केस मेरे पास आया था कि रात को एक पेशेंट हमारे यहाँ कैजुअलिटी में आया विद द हिस्ट्री कि मैं स्कूटर चला रहा था, गिर गया, तो मेरे को ये चोट लगी. डॉक्टर ने छोटी सी जो चोट थी उसके आंख के पास स्टिच कर दी, उसको घर भेज दिया, एमएलसी नहीं काटा. सुबह 4 रिश्तेदारों को और लोकल आरएमपी को लेके आ गया कि ये तो मेरे को इन 4 लोगों ने मारा था, इसलिए जो है मेरे को चोट लगी. अब वेदर दैट इंजरी हैज बीन काज्ड बाय डंडा और गिरने से, एक सिर पे एक कोई डंडा मारे, उस पे एक CLW हो जाए और गिरने से हो जाए, उसमें डॉक्टर के लिए तो एक जैसा ही नजर आएगा। तो उसमें केसेस में प्रॉब्लम आता है, सर्कमस्टेंशियल और इंक्वायरी कैसे की जाती है। एज सुन एज आई टोल्ड यू, इट विल गो अगेंस्ट यू बिकॉज यू आर चेंजिंग योर whatever जो गिवन द ओपिनियन इन द फर्स्ट इंस्टेंस, जो भी आपने स्टेटमेंट दी थी, यू आर चेंजिंग, यू विल बी इन ट्रबल, वो भाग गया। तो वी हैव टू सी circumstantial evidence in these cases and opinion.
जी मैम प्लीज।
क्वेश्चन है सर, एक क्वेश्चन है।
हाँ बताइए सर, आई विल ट्राई टू आंसर।
हाँ, एक क्वेश्चन डॉक्टर साहब पूछा था पहले, किसी ने बताई, शायद वो वकील साहब है नहीं, कि अगर MLC में इंजरी नहीं आती और बाद में पोस्टमार्टम में वो इंजरी कॉज ऑफ डेथ बनती है, तो ऐसे केसेस में क्या होता है?
ऐसे केसेस में सर जो है कि अगर उसने MLC में यूजुअली इंजरी जिसने नहीं नोट करी, ये होता है कि उसमें एक्सटर्नल इंजरी नहीं होती, वो इंटरनल इंजरी यूजुअली होती है, जो हमने नोट किया है। एक्सटर्नल जो कैजुअलिटी में बैठ के MLC काटते हैं हमारे डॉक्टर भाई, वो यूजुअली एक्सटर्नल इंजरीज को देखते हैं। तो एक्सटर्नल इंजरीज उनको कई बार नहीं दिखाई देती, इसीलिए वो जब हम लोग उसकी डेथ हो जाती है तो पोस्टमार्टम वो मेटिकुलस एग्जामिनेशन होता है, वो एक्सटर्नली देखते हैं। और ड्यूरिंग एक्सटर्नल एग्जामिनेशन फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी उनकी टू सेव द लाइफ होता है, ना कि नोट करना, जैसे मैंने बताया। तो समटाइम दे मिस द इंजरी एंड दैट मिसिंग should be, a postmortem report will be more accurate than the MLC made by the doctor, because during postmortem we have the full body and we have the full liberty to check each and every part of the body.
Thank you, Dr. Sir.
Manu ma'am, there is, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, Dr. Saab, there is one very interesting sort of question या कह लें या comment, हालांकि obviously it would not be apt to answer that, but I just wanted it to be highlighted. एक एडवोकेट अमित कुमार साहब है कोई, इन्होंने बोला है कि सुशांत सिंह राजपूत जी के उसमें आपका क्या ओपिनियन है, whether it was a suicide or things are going on the other way. So kindly please please इसमें वकील साहब एक तो kindly refrain from asking a case of a particular, question about a particular case. Secondly, it is pending investigation, sub judice pending investigation, we can't comment anything on it over here. Thirdly, we are here to discuss, generally the overall aspects of studies of MLC and postmortem reports, not the aspects of a particular case or intricacies of a particular case. So question interesting था, उन्होंने contemporaneous समझ के और recent development से connect किया, but we are sorry we cannot answer that. As
that
we are not
answer
in
cannot be
position and it should not be apt also. हाँ जी डॉक्टर साहब कुछ कह रहे हैं?
नहीं बस मैंने कहा this type of questions we cannot answer here.
हाँ जी. Manu ma'am, please go ahead. There are some other queries also, I think.
So we have the next question by Advocate Bipin Rakesh. He's asking, during the first time of the examination of dead body by the doctor, whether the doctor knows the cause of death of the person prima facie.
From just at the first time means, whenever the doctor goes for examination or postmortem examination of any individual, he just have the inquest papers, that is the history given by the IO, whatever inquest he has done. Then on the basis of that investigation, he gets some clue or the path, but he examines each and every part of the body externally and internally. Sometimes that path is wrong also. It has been noticed by us and our reports has gone against the IO, and we have asked the IO to come inside and see these findings which you have missed it. And these type of things are possible and it has been seen invariably by us.
Right. The next question again is by the same lawyer. He says whether the doctor removes the clothes of the dead person to know prima facie the cause of death during the first examination of the dead body. I think after if the
clear नहीं हो पाया question. I am not able to hear you properly.
Probably sir, the question itself is not clear. ये पूछना चाह रहे हैं, जब dead body का first time examination होता है, whether the doctor removes the clothes of the dead person to know the prima facie cause of death.
नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पे आ जाइए मैडम.
हाँ जी. So the next question is, if in the postmortem report it was written by the doctor that the cause of death is accidental burn, and in the dying declaration the victim accuses that someone burnt him, what will be the fate of the case?
That, मैडम क्वेश्चन अगेन प्लीज.
अगर डाइंग डिक्लेरेशन में एक्यूज्ड कह रहा है कि उसको किसी ने जला दिया, बट एमएलसी में डॉक्टर साहब ने लिखा है कि एक्सीडेंटल बर्न से वो जला है, तो केस पे उसका कितना असर पड़ेगा?
देखो, डाइंग डिक्लेरेशन, ये क्वेश्चन आप लोगों के लिए ही हो जाएगा.
बिल्कुल
Because-
बिल्कुल. डाइंग
क्योंकि हमारे
डिक्लेरेशन coupled with sir, I'll take the liberty to answer this question.
या यू प्लीज गिव आंसर.
Right. So, see, dying declaration coupled with other circumstantial evidence would definitely have a greater admissibility rather than just a reference by the doctor in the MLC that it was accidental burn, because there will be some person who will give a history to the doctor that it happened due to accidental burn, either the victim himself or the person who brought the victim to the hospital. But then, if the victim is saying in his dying declaration, then according to Section 32 of Indian Evidence Act, that would have a greater value. So the next question is whether the opinion regarding use of weapon like knife, etc.
या
ये क्वेश्चन क्लियर नहीं है. एडवोकेट आर के गुप्ता हैं. ओपिनियन देने के लिए फोरेंसिक डिपार्टमेंट कॉम्पिटेंट होता है या फिर हॉस्पिटल के कोई भी डॉक्टर ये ओपिनियन दे सकते हैं कि नेचर ऑफ वेपन क्या है? डॉक्टर साहब, एम आई ऑडिबल?
हेलो
हाँ जी, एम आई ऑडिबल?
मैडम, क्वेश्चन साफ नहीं था, दोबारा आप बोल रहे हैं ऑडिबल?
सर, द क्वेश्चन इज कि जो एक डॉक्टर जो ओपिनियन देते हैं कि नेचर ऑफ वेपन नाइफ था या जो भी वेपन के बारे में जो भी ओपिनियन आता है, तो वो कौन से डॉक्टर कॉम्पिटेंट रहते हैं? फोरेंसिक डिपार्टमेंट से कोई डॉक्टर वो कॉम्पिटेंट है या फिर हॉस्पिटल के कोई भी डॉक्टर उस बारे में ओपिनियन दे सकते हैं रिगार्डिंग द वेपन ऑफ द नेचर ऑफ वेपन ऑफ ऑफेंस?
It depends. Any doctor who has done the MBBS is competent to give the opinion about the nature of weapon. One thing. So, in most of the cases, the doctor who has examined the injuries first is the better judge as compared to any other doctor. So, in our hospital, whatever the settings we have is, because we don't have so many numbers of forensic experts, MLCs are usually prepared by CMOs. And these CMOs give the opinion about the nature of the weapon, that is sharp edged or whether blunt weapon has been used or particular knife is possible. Sometimes they have some problems or difficulties. They come to us or send the case to us, and sometimes they refer the case along with the knife and other things. We give the opinion, and otherwise they give the. And all the cases of postmortem, we doctors of forensic medicine or forensic experts are giving the opinion. So any doctor who has done the MBBS is competent to give the opinion in all these cases.
Right. So next question is, डॉक्टर अगर कोर्ट में ये डिपोज कर देते हैं कि उन्होंने कॉज ऑफ डेथ के बारे में एक पर्टिकुलर फैक्ट गलत मेंशन कर दिया था ड्यू टू वर्कलोड.
दोबारा बताइए मैडम, आज कट के आ रही है आवाज आप.
अगर सपोज एमएलसी में डॉक्टर ने कुछ पर्टिकुलर फैक्ट लिखा हुआ है रिगार्डिंग द कॉज ऑफ डेथ ऑफ द विक्टिम, और कोर्ट में आके अगर वो डिपोजिशन देते हैं कि he had wrongly mentioned this fact. See, Mr. Dhanwar, I guess that would have a adverse effect on the case of the prosecution. Wo itself, if the fact which the doctor has mentioned in the MLC regarding the cause of death of the victim is so vital, then it will, the case of the prosecution itself would fail if it is a relevant fact, which the doctor
I
said
agree.
that he had, wrongly mentioned in the MLC.
Yes.
I agree.
We should
Manu,
ask the questions to the doctor. Hanji.
Manu, I think we can take 2 or 3 questions together, and then we can refer them to Dr. Saab, and then we can end the session. We can
Right,
take
we can, and I would also request that see those questions जो कि आप deposition में सोच रहे हैं MLC से contrary हैं, we should clearly have a view कि अगर वो MLC से contrary हैं, that will affect the case of the prosecution. So I think Dr. Saab is has nothing to elaborate on it. You want me to take this strangulation वाला question?
I think ये सुशांत सिंह राजपूत पे है, पर indirectly पूछा गया है. The similar kind of situation is there.
This is the last question. I take the view if you want.
Yes.
Can you give the last question again, please?
सर स्ट्रैंगुलेशन में ये कैसे पता चलता है कि वो सुसाइड है या होमिसाइड है? मतलब वी मार्क ओ मार्क वो सब उसके
ऐसा है मैडम, स्ट्रैंगुलेशन और हैंगिंग ये दोनों कंफ्यूजिंग रहते हैं हमेशा. स्ट्रैंगुलेशन, व्हेन वी यूज द वर्ड स्ट्रैंगुलेशन, इट इज मोस्टली homicidal. I will use mostly word homicidal because the mark of strangulation is usually horizontal and below the thyroid cartilage. Whereas in the case of hanging, the mark of ligature is oblique and present above the thyroid cartilage. This is the main difference between the mark of hanging and strangulation. And hangulation, strangulation is usually, mostly I will use the word homicidal, and hanging is mostly suicidal, but cases of the persons being hanged after death are also known. And this mark can be seen in the case of hanging if the person is hanged during the perimortem period, that is immediately after death, causing death by homicidal any of the by, and then the body is hanged. So sometimes these type of confusing cases may come to us.
Right.
One question is left, ma'am. I think एक कुछ
Yes.
स्मेग्मा टेस्ट के बारे में कुछ है.
हाँ ये सब मेग्मा टेस्ट क्या होता है?
कौन सा?
स्मेग्मा टेस्ट SMEGMA.
मेरे को समझ नहीं आई वैसे. दोबारा स्पेलिंग बोलिए, मैं देखता ही बता देता हूँ थोड़ा सा.
हाँ, this is SMEGMA.
स्मेग्मा.
Right, sir.
स्मेग्मा मैडम, वैसे हम उस चीज को करते हैं कि जो हमारी पेनिस और प्रेप्यूस के बीच में, जो ग्लास पेनिस और प्रेप्यूस जो उसका कवरिंग होती है, उसके बीच में जो रीजन होता है, उसके बीच में अगर कई दिन से जिसने इंटरकोर्स नहीं किया है तो उसमें वो थोड़ी सी क्या कहते हैं issues and something remains, white opaque material remains. This is known as smegma. उसमें कुछ epithelial cell body के होते हैं. If the smegma is still there, it means that the person has not done the intercourse sexual. It might be related to smegma test somebody has given the word.
Right, it is probably relevant in the cases of rape and
Yeah. Rape and sexual assault cases might have been.
Right, sir. We have another question by Advocate Ramachandran.
Yes,
when
please.
the victim in POXO and rape case is brought to the hospital, then whether the concerned doctor has to conduct medical suo motu or a formal application from IO is necessary.
Yeah. Question is, after brought
POXO या rape victim जब भी कोई आता है हॉस्पिटल में लाया जाता है, तो whether IO moves an application या फिर डॉक्टर suo motu करता है उनका टेस्ट.
I think this will be the last question. Dr. Saab, this is the last
question. Right.
Please go ahead.
क्या क्वेश्चन था संदीप जी? आवाज समझ नहीं आई मैडम की.
डॉक्टर साहब, ये क्वेश्चन है कि जो पॉक्सो या रेप का विक्टिम हॉस्पिटल में आता है,
हाँ
then क्या डॉक्टर्स खुद ही उनका सुओमोटो टेस्ट कर लेते हैं, मेडिकल टेस्ट एंड ऑल, या फिर आईओ एक एप्लीकेशन लगाता है आपके पास कि इनका टेस्ट कीजिए बिकॉज दे आर द विक्टिम ऑफ रेप और पोक्सो?
नहीं, उनका सीओ मोटो हो जाता है. इवन वी हैव द वन स्टॉप सेंटर आल्सो in most of the hospitals, and where the person of these type are brought and they do the test, they inform the IO, they inform the other persons also. Even the counseling is also done for these persons. We have also have the one stop center in our.
So, thank you so much, Dr. Saab. I think all the queries of all the panel lawyers, they have been answered. I would now hand over the session to Sandeep sir to give a formal vote of thanks to Dr. Saab.
Okay, thanks Manu ma'am. Actually, giving a vote of thanks is a hard task always, because we cannot thank, no matter, I can thank countless times to our resource person, but it's always not enough. So thank you so much, Dr. Saab, for this enlightening and enriching session. We actually, because of us, you were put into trouble also today because of these technical glitches and all, and you managed so much for us, and ultimately we got through this session quite successfully. So and you spared your time also. Nowadays aajkal to sir doctors ki doctors have always been compared to God, and doctors aajkal to वैसे भी बहुत occupied है. So thank you so much for sparing your time and acceding to our request for such a session, sir. आई नो आपको बहुत कम्बरसम लगता होगा जब हम डॉक्टर्स को कोर्ट में बुलाते हैं टेस्टिफाई करने के लिए, बिकॉज मेडिकल प्रोसीजर्स को छोड़कर आपको कोर्ट में आना, गवाही देना, इट्स लाइक अ टास्क. सो एंड टुडे यू gave this session, you agreed to become a resource person for this session, so thank you so much, Dr. Saab, once again, and we will look forward for your session on such other relevant aspects in future as well. And obviously we will thank our panel advocates. Because of them only we are able to have such sessions. So unless and until they join and make it a successful session, we all are nobody. If we are all efforts go in vain agar aap log hi join nahi kare hame to. So thank you so much to our panel lawyers. And then obviously Vidhi ma'am and Manu ma'am, thank you to you also. Yeah, it was Vidhi's vision to have this session on postmortem and MLCs, which is actually a very relevant and crucial topic. So and thank you to our staff as well for providing logistics and infrastructural support for this session. So thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
sir. Thank you, Dr. Saab.
Thank you, sir, to everybody. But I'm sorry to say that I'm not able to provide you the slides and you photograph which I kept it, and because of the technical problems, right? Shortly we will try to meet. And thank you very much for calling again. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.